Wendy, let's just kick off with you because I met you a long time ago when I was in the truck garage.
Right.
And I saw you sent me a bio earlier today, and it was like 25 years. I'm like, me too. We're both the same, 25 years.
Yes.
Of course, your family's in racing. So
yeah, but that's 25 years working. Thanks for having me. First of all, it's good to be here with you, Angie and Jamie. I'm so glad you're here in the studio with us. That's a great opportunity for all three of us to be together today. So 2004 was my first official year working where I earned a paycheck, and that started off in the truck series. And so this is I had put in a couple years behind the scenes in production, working my way up the NASCAR production world. And so this will be my 25th season in TV or radio for the last 25 years straight. It was just crazy. It's insane. They're like, yes, I grew up in the sport, but to work in it and to have that long of a career as a woman or anything in what you're doing has been, I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. We've come so far in 25 years. I was just telling this story, and Jamie, I'm sure, experienced this, but the first assignment, like they give us the logo gear, on your first on-air experience. And this was at Speed Channel, and they handed me a men's shirt.
Yep.
And I said, what am I supposed to do with this? This is a men's shirt. Where are the women's shirt? And they looked at me and said, oh, we don't make shirts for women. And so I questioned and challenged them. Well, why not? Yeah. Why don't we have a women's cut shirt? Like, you're making us go on the air with these boxy, awful logo shirts, and then we had those awful men's cut fire suits we were wearing that I was like, I'm getting this tailored. This is disgusting. Like, I mean, you experienced the same exact thing 25 years ago.
I did. You just took me back to the first time. I actually was Speed Channel in 98 and 99, my first ever live TV show, and I was covering Supercross, and I got the ESPN t-shirt that was for the men that were 50 years older than me and like 5 sizes bigger than me, and I had to go with it. I remember like tying them up in the back.
Tie it in the back, yeah.
And then the fire suit. I mean, that's all I knew, because at ESPN they were steadfast on you have to wear a fire suit, but it, from IndyCar, it was a danger thing. Yes. So we wore it for a reason. Then I come over to NASCAR. I'm like, we're not wearing this for a reason. So by the time I was done altering it every year, it wasn't even fireproof. It was just a shell of itself. Yes. But we learned over time. God bless. I mean, I look back that first year, Wendy, 2007. I'm like, I went on the air looking like that. I did not care, I guess, about what I looked like.
And it's so funny how far we are 25 years later, because now we're wearing regular clothing on the air. It's not, and they will have logos and whatnot, but it's so crazy to know. Even when my mother was in the 80s and 90s and she was escorted through the garage area because women were not allowed in the NASCAR garages, like, this is how I grew up, and watching my mother and with my father's racing career. And I remember when she got escorted through the garage because she was always traveling with my dad. My dad questioned, well, why can't she walk through here? And they said, only drivers, crew members, and car owners. And so my dad said, all car owners? And they said yes. And so the very next week, he registered my mother as the car owner in NASCAR. And she's been a car owner ever since. She's listed as a car owner. Awesome. So she started walking through the garage then.
That's a great story. Well, and the funny thing is, you guys were talking about wearing the fire suit. Remember when Delana Harvick wore the fire suit? Because I think she really thought that they were going to force us to wear fire suits, kind of following maybe the IndyCar suit, and all of us NASCAR wives that would, take notes or try to do stuff on the pit box, try to be a part of the team. Yes. They were saying that they were going to make us wear fire suits. And so Delana's like, I'm just going to get ahead of the game. And she did it. And then she's like, are you going to do it with me? And I'm like, hell no.
So funny story. When I was 14 years old, I was doing my dad's timing and scoring on the little laptop. That was like a thing back then. And he had Rain-X as the sponsor, and they wanted us in fire suits. And so because I was back then, there was no really age limit, right? And so my mom and dad are like, well, we're putting you in a fire suit so you look older and they won't question your age and just do your job. And so I was a scorer on a laptop in a fire suit when I was 14 years old on pit road. Talk about it's so crazy and how things have changed in the industry, but so grateful for it. Like, it's such cool experiences we went through in these last 25 years to see where we are. But it's amazing it was only 25 years ago.
Right. Well, that's the thing, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about when you guys started. I know you came from, I call it like the cool extreme sports, the California girl, right? And you are the Southern girl who came up through racing, kind of knowing NASCAR. So it's kind of cool to have you both together because you came from such different backgrounds. But did you have a goal to say, I would like to be the lead announcer for a race one day? Or was it
Hell
something?
no.
Okay. Because
No.
that would intimidate me.
No.
No, I'll tell you, Benny Parsons was a huge influence on me when I was about 15 years old. Benny Parsons, he lived down the street from us here in Concord, North Carolina. And he said to me, well, Wendy, what do you want to do? Do you want to drive cars? And I'm like, no, not really. I don't want to work on them. I don't want to drive. And my dad gave me opportunities to do all of that as a teenager. And I just didn't have an interest. And so Benny Parsons said to me, well, why don't you go down the media side and look into broadcasting? And I said to him, no women in our industry do that. And he goes, exactly. You don't have to learn racing. You have to learn broadcasting, TV, radio. And so that really planted a seed in me when I was 15 years old to kind of go down the public speaking route. When I was in high school, I started public speaking and then just kind of rolled into high school, college. And then after that, pursued that broadcasting. But that was really the catapult for me, was Benny Parsons just kind of planting that seed about women in our industry.
How cool. I did not know, because we knew Benny from living in Florida. We lived in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
And he would be walking his dog Winston all the time. And I would go and say, hey, Benny, and he played golf with Mike. And I remember he said, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't want to be a driver's wife. I came from a broadcast background and I want to do something for myself. And he's the one that said, well, write a book. You can write a book while you're sitting in the bus or traveling. And how cool that he did that to you. And wow. Oh, that gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.